Well, hello to each and every one of you out there. I hope you're doing all right today. And I'm doing all right myself. Glad to be with you once again. I tell you, you just don't know what it means to me to have you join me here for just a few moments. And I'm so grateful. I really am. I want to thank you so much for being with me today. And I would like to welcome each and every one of you to another episode of TJ's Topics. That's right. And of course, I am TJ. And I'm certainly honored and appreciative for having you with me. It's a joy, an honor, and a privilege just to be able to come into your presence on any given occasion. And I tell you, it really means a lot to me. And before I get into today's topic, I just want to express my sincerest gratitude to anyone out there who took the time to send me birthday greetings via social media. I want to say thank you for you sent me a text message or email or what have you. I want to say thank you very much. It was greatly appreciated. And the thing that I appreciate most of all in this is the fact that I survived. Made it one more year. I tell you, it's it's a blessing. It really is, and it's one that I definitely don't take for granted. 45 is a is a good number, and because the number four is symbolic of creation and hard work, dedication, commitment, and the number five is the number of grace. Now, when you add the 4 and the 5 together, you get the sum of 9, which is finality. So now that I'm 45 years old, perhaps there may be some things that I can finalize, not in life, but but in other affairs. And there are some good things that I'm looking forward to as I explore this new chapter, this chapter 45. So I'm very grateful. I really am. And so I'm grateful today and I'm grateful for this topic that I have too. Now, since I'm 45 years old, there's one thing that I simply do not have time for now, and that is how some people like to analyze the things that I'm doing in my own life. That word analyze, that's a key word for today because it's a part of my topic. Everything is not meant to be analyzed. That's what I'm talking about. Everything is not meant to be analyzed. But you got a lot of folk out here who like to do that kind of stuff. They don't care how old you are. They don't care where you live or how well you're doing or if you're not doing as well as they think you should. They want to get all in your business, try to figure out what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it, when you're going to try to do better. They're analyzing your situation, but they're not going to do anything to try to help you rectify your situation, help solve your problems, help to put things into perspective or their proper place. They're not going to do that for you. Those are things that we have to do for ourselves. But they can run their mouth though. They love to talk. But when it comes down to trying to help you, then they'll go the way. Now, who has time to be bothered with folk like that? because I sure as heck don't. Now, what is the word analyze? Some people may not know what that word means. They've heard it, but they never really had an accurate understanding of it. The word analyze means to examine methodically and in detail the constitution or structure of something, especially information, typically for purposes of explanation and interpretation. That's what it means to analyze something. Also, it means to discover or reveal something through detailed examinations. And that's what people like to do with us sometimes. They like to analyze every aspect of our lives. You know, your job and how long you've been on the job. And, they want to know when you're going to retire and all that kind of stuff. They want to know when you're going to buy a new car. And then they'll ask you these questions. Some of them are just, the questions themselves are dumb. They're stupid, which could possibly say something about the individuals. But that's another story for another time. But they like to dip and dab too much. And that's something that I don't think too many people want to put up with. But how in the world can we deal with those type of people who love to come to us with all these questions? It's their way of trying to see where we are and where our minds are and stuff. But they really don't have a right to do that. I mean, and you would think that if they have enough problems of their own, they certainly wouldn't have time to be trying to analyze the problems of someone else's. You would think they wouldn't be interested in that if they got a buttload of situations and circumstances and stuff going on in their own home, in their own marriages and relationships and families, on their own jobs. Why would they want to waste all their time trying to figure out what you're doing and why you're doing it, how you're doing it, or when you're going to do this and that? I don't understand, but I guess as we go through life, that's what we have to deal with. Now, here's more on analysis. Analysis means breaking something down into its various elements and then asking questions such as why and how in order to reach some conclusions of your own. And I think that's what a lot of people like to do. They ask these God awful questions that sometimes make you want to holler, like Marvin Gaye said, or they make you want to throw something at them if you get mad enough. But that's what they like to do. They love to aggravate you, trying to see if they can get under your skin. Sometimes it's best to ignore those people because you're dealing with enough as it is without them running all up in your face, bothering you and worrying you to death. I mean, who honestly has time for that? Now, here are 3 things that don't need to be analyzed in any of our lives. I mean, you can add more to them if you want to, but I only jotted down 3, and here they are. Number 1, people's personal business. That's one thing that definitely does not need to be analyzed. Example would be finances, you know, uh, being overly concerned about how much money somebody makes on their job. And people have asked that a lot of times. They ask us that. I've been asked that many times. Sometimes I try to dance around it because I feel like it's not their business, you know. And sometimes when it comes to finances and your salary and stuff, people have a way of they have a way of going about trying to figure out how much you make, and they base that on how you live, you know. And I know that's how they do here in West Memphis. See, here in West Memphis, the average salary is, I guess, somewhere between $35,000 and $40,000 a year. That's average. Now, a lot of people here make below average. Some make above average. So let's just say that you're in that average range between $35,000 and $40,000 a year. And then all of a sudden you pop up in a brand new Cadillac or you're driving a Mercedes or something like that. You're buying a 3-bedroom house, but you only make between $35,000 and $40,000 a year. Well, the first thing somebody's gonna ask you, how you doing all of that? And they know what kind of job you have. They know about how much you make. So they feel like you shouldn't be able to afford what you have. If anything, you ought to be trying to get some food stamps, or you should be working on, they think you working a second job a lot of times. Like you went out and got a second job, because one job may not be able to pay all those expenses. But if you tell them you're only working one job and you're making it, they be like, how in the world? Then the next thing, they think you selling dope. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. Number 2, relationships, particularly those of a sexual or romantic nature. Now, that's something else that people like to analyze. If you've been single for a long time, like myself, they feel like, number 1, you're never going to get anybody. And 2, they feel like since you don't have anybody, then it's a good chance that you're probably as horny as a billy goat, and you're not having sex. See, they they assume the worst. I mean, they think that, because you don't have a boyfriend, you don't have a girlfriend, you're not married or nothing like that, you haven't had any children, oh, they feel like you're unwanted goods and you're damaged. You're just absolutely of no use. If you don't have children by a certain age, they're analyzing your situation, trying to figure out what in the world is wrong with you that you don't have a husband or a wife or children by the time you've reached a certain age. And I'm 45, like I said, 45 years old. I don't have any children, never been married. So, but it is what it is. It just never happened. I can't say that it won't, but, if it doesn't, then that just means it wasn't meant. But if it does, then apparently it's going to be very late in life. But look here, people love to do that kind of stuff. They love to analyze the situations and circumstances of other people. And I don't know why that is. And finally, number 3, your next move. In other words, what do you have going on? What you got going on? They want to know what your plans are for the future. They want to know exactly what it is that you intend to do for the rest of your life. whether it's to stay on that job that you've been on all these years or to find something new, change careers altogether, go back to school. If you're going to ever decide to move out of town, relocate, you know, I mean, and I've had many questions like that. I mean, it's something that I think we've all had to put up with at one time or another. Oh man, analyzation. People love to analyze the things that are going on in the lives of others. But why don't they take time to analyze their own situation? And in doing so, they just might find that they don't have all of their stuff together. Because 9 times out of 10, they don't. So tell me what you think. What do you think about the way people like to analyze your situation or anyone's situation for that matter? I mean, do you think that's a good thing? They always want to come to you with a whole bunch of unsolicited questions, and most of them are based in stupidity and ignorance. How does that make you feel when they do that kind of stuff? If you're like me, you probably want them to shut the hell up and go on somewhere. So that's all I'm going to say on that. Everything is not meant to be analyzed. And I'm sure that most of you will agree with that as well. So with that being said, I would like to say thank you very much for tuning in today to another episode of TJ's Topics. I really do appreciate it. And be sure to join me again next time because actually, I would like to point out that when we come back together again, we will be approaching Thanksgiving. That's right. We will be coming up on Thanksgiving. Oh, I'm telling you. And we are going to have ourselves a ball, enjoying the food and fun and festivities with family and friends. So I look forward to seeing you then, okay? Until then, this is Taryn Jerome Harris, reminding you that every round goes higher and higher. Hope you all have a very good day. And don't let anybody get under your skin trying to analyze your business. Tell them to shut up and go on somewhere. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.